말해줘. 뭐가 뭔지 몰라. 도대체 어떻게 그럴 수가 있나. 이 세상에는 나보다 더 잘난 남자가 있다는 걸 알아. 세상에 그럴 수가.
You supposed to go to work today? And I was like, yeah, I am.
I get that too, man. Especially when you work crazy hours, you know?
Yeah.
Or you work the hours that aren't your normal shit. You just start like, you can't get back into the rhythm of things. So I'm working off of no days off, and
you're not even like your normal body routine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make up my hours tomorrow, which is why it's okay that we're doing the pod a little earlier than normal.
Yeah.
But we're still late for me, and this is Check the Vending Machines.
It is.
And it is Halloween
night. Spooktacular.
Halloween night. I'm Jason. That's Zach. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. You know, it's Halloween. Yeah, you know, it's a spooky time. Spooky season's I mean, it's over basically at this point. But yeah, man, it's Halloween night. It's chilly as hell here, so I bust out the long sleeves and everything. Yeah.
I don't. I never really care about Halloween, man. It's not my holiday. I know people really like it and people love it, and the moment it gets, you know, close to October, people freak out and they start breaking out all the horror movies, and I'm the opposite. I don't give a shit.
I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't like freak out about it. Like, I'm not one of those people that is like watching a horror movie or something like every single day or something like that. I like the atmosphere of Halloween a lot, but yeah, I'm definitely not like obsessed with it or anything like that. Like, I like going to Halloween parties and I like watching like horror movies, but like it's not like it's October 1st every single day we're watching a different horror movie. We're going through all the classics, and I was like, if I watch one, I watch one. If I don't watch one, that's not a huge deal to me. So
I've been trying to like actively like get into theming better. Because my fiance loves that stuff.
Yeah.
My family never did that stuff.
Is she one of those people that was like super big in the ABC Family, like the 24 Days of Christmas and all that shit?
Yeah, she was big in that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the moment the season changes, it's like decorations, Christmas time. Like, she loves that stuff, and I just never that was never me or my family, so I never really cared.
Yeah.
So when it came to the stuff that I did like, which is movies, it was like, okay, I wouldn't go on TV and like just watch a horror movie because it was on. Maybe if we had Elvira when we were kids, maybe, but we didn't have Elvira.
No,
you know, we had Sci-Fi.
We had
Sci-Fi Channel.
We had Sci-Fi. Was Mystery Science Theater then?
I mean, at that point, by the time we were in high school, it was gone for a long time. They had riff tracks, but that's like all humor based. You know, that wasn't like a Elvira type thing.
Right. I guess Mystery Science Theater kind of was too. It was like the commentary type of thing.
Oh, yeah. When they ended MST or whatever, when they went to riff tracks, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, pretty much. You know, and I just never really cared about horror movies, as we've said before in the podcast. So, like, it was never a time of year that I was like, oh, here we go. Time to
bust them out.
Yeah, time to break out Cannibal Holocaust. Like, I don't fucking care.
Time to go through I know, like 8 of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know what friend of mine who was it, but they were big into horror movies, and it was like every time it was Halloween, it was like, okay, what? And it wasn't like just the normal stuff. It was like we have to binge watch like the like make you fucking really hate yourself movies, like the really fucked up stuff,
like Cabin Fever and shit.
Oh no, but that's like not even close. Like the Cannibal Holocaust type stuff, like the stuff that you would see that like that Jay from RLM he
Yeah.
is really into.
All those
All
super
those really
weird,
fucked
obscure,
up
fucked up horror movies. Yeah.
B C tier fucked up movies.
Yeah.
They're we talked before about this, so I just kind of repeating it, but I don't understand the obsession with those kind of movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super big into
Even the
those
one,
kind of movies.
even I was on a boutique Blu-ray group on Facebook,
Yeah.
right? And someone posted a poll to be like, "Hey, what should I watch?" This is a while back, but what should I watch next? And it was all just these kind of movies, like Cannibal Holocaust or fucking Serbian film or these movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how about option D?
None of the above.
None of these. None of these movies. Don't watch any of them because even though I think Serbian film is I haven't seen it.
It's
I think it has it's a satirical no it's not a parody but it's
I think
satirizing
it's sad. It's supposed to
a
satirize, yeah,
political
like the snuff film genre and all that kind of stuff.
and a politics and stuff like that of the country, and
Yeah.
I understand that completely. I can see how that can be very effective. But I'm pretty sure
He
I
fucks
would
a baby in that
absolutely
movie,
yeah I think
which is
and a boy and there's
up.
a rape there's a ton of rape and stuff in it. And
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that even when I watch Sopranos, I'm like, is the sex scene relevant to the story?
Yeah.
Or
Well, that's
are we just
that's the HBO
Shocktopia?
curse with that shit, where it's just oh, we can
Yeah.
throw nudity on the screen, do it, because why not?
Well, and the last time we had this discussion about horror movies, I've said that I'm gonna say it again, which is I can't I've seen one Saw movie
Right.
in theaters, right? And I saw it with our buddy,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that it was the most dumb shit. And I think probably I saw it that was too far into the franchise already, so it was really we're grasping at straws here to try and make a banger.
Mm.
But even the idea of you come home and you want to eat some popcorn, eat some fucking Mike and Ike's,
Hell yeah.
and watch someone just murder people. But it's the idea too, like I've said before, it's the context that's in. Because I just finished reading yesterday, reading First Blood,
Mm-hmm.
and now I have the desire to go to watch First Blood because I just finished the book and I wanted to watch it right away.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, Rambo is way more fucked up.
Yeah.
He fucks those people up way worse.
Oh yeah.
He fucks them up way worse. I'm reading the book and I was like, "Geez, Louise, man, this dude's brutal."
Yeah.
In the book, he shoots the guy's dogs. They're on a cliff and he knocks someone off a cliff. All
Jesus.
this shit. And then in the book, the guy who has the dogs, there's so much more characterization than the movie. That I think, Zach, if you do want to read the book, it's a whole different experience.
Mm-hmm.
The ending's different, the characters are different. It's so completely different,
Interesting.
but similar. It's a really good. So it's one of my favorite books I've read now. It's really really great.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is the lens of Rambo versus the lens of Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. I
You know?
mean, I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me. For me, I mean, I think the thing that's always stuck out to me with horror movies specifically is the gore effects specifically and how that kind of stuff looks. Even now, I can appreciate, especially when you look at stuff that with Friday the 13th and stuff like that, stuff that Tom Savini did and what he was able to do, especially in the realm of practical effects, I think is something that is a reason to watch those movies and admire them for what they are. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not one that typically likes to be scared when watching movies either. Horror movies are not really my thing. I mean, I watch them occasionally, but they're not my go-to genre by any means. I don't steer away from them, but I just don't usually have an active interest to watch them. But I can definitely see from that aspect of and a lot of times with a lot of movies, especially recently with what's his name? Is it Ari Aster? The guy who did Hereditary and Midsummer? There are horror directors out there, not all of them. Some of them are just bottom of the barrel schlock and you look at them and how the fuck did this even get made? But some of these guys are legit, directors and filmographers and are able to like really make like a piece of art with the story that they're trying to tell, like through horror. Um, so I mean, there is like, you know, each one has their like ups and downs, and some of it is just like, I mean, I assume for some people it's probably the same way that like we view watching like Commando or like any of those type of movies where it's like those movies are just like dumb fun with like, you know, a big muscle guy just tearing the shit out of like these random faceless goons. And for some people, their big muscle guy is Jason, who just attacks some defenseless
Oh,
college
absolutely.
students. But
I just don't see. And again, it's just not my cup of tea. But I just don't see how you can like really find enjoyment in that. But it's because I love the power fantasy aspect is what really gets me hooked on action movies.
yeah,
So maybe there's the idea of like people who like to ride roller coasters like yourself, people who like the fear, like it's an adrenaline thing, and people
yeah,
enjoy it. People like I guess
I would
people like to
definitely
be
say that,
afraid.
that's probably a big part of it. Yeah, and I think it's definitely like fear is probably a big part of it, and I think it's a way to get that sort of like fight or flight response, but instead of like hitting on the fight response, which uh, action movies do a lot of times, I think the horror movies probably hit on more like the flight response. So it gives you that like other side of the coin to that adrenaline.
I always took it as like people like to be excited, and you know you're not gonna die.
Yeah,
Like you like this, you're gonna get scared, gonna get the adrenaline rush, but you know that you're like nothing's gonna happen because you're gonna
yeah,
just
but
watching
then
a
there are
movie.
also the psychopaths who like go to like the haunted mazes and are like think that that's the
Oh yeah,
coolest shit, and those people are true psychos. So
yeah. Those people are dumb.
yeah,
The people that go sign the waivers to those haunted
people
houses,
go
they're
to
like,
Halloween Horror Nights and they're like, hell yeah,
oh, not those people. Not even that, but the people that go to those weird, like fucked up, like haunted houses where they make you sign a waiver before you walk in because they're gonna spit on you
oh
and
yeah,
like all
yeah.
that crazy shit. Yo, hey, nah, I'm good.
I don't want nobody spitting
I
on me,
don't.
man. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And that's why like I have a hard. My Halloween movies are like fucking Paranorman.
Yeah,
You know, it's like shit like that. I just don't have the balls to watch real horror movies. It's not in my DNA.
right.
I don't even watch Stephen King movies, bro. I don't even do
No, I
that.
like
I don't
Stephen
even
King
read. I don't
movies.
read that stuff. I don't even do that
I
shit.
mean, his
I
stuff's
don't
not
touch
even
any of
that
that.
scary, really. So
Like I've seen the big ones. Obviously, I've seen like Firestarter.
yeah,
And I've seen like Christine, and I've seen like The
Carrie
Shining.
in The
Obviously,
Shining.
yeah, I've seen Carrie. But those like for like The Shining, it wasn't even about Stephen King. It's more about if I'm gonna be a film student,
Well, yeah, you have to watch
I
Kubrick.
have to watch Kubrick stuff. So it's like I have to just deal with it.
Yeah,
And I even heard I even heard that the movie and the book are very different.
they're completely different.
I never read the book, so I don't
Well,
know.
the book is more focused on like the actual like shining power and whatnot, and like how Danny is basically like a fucking Jedi in that
See, and that
book.
sounds like I would like that shit.
Yeah, well, it definitely leans more into like the fact that like digging into like The Shining and the fact that it's like this like psychic ability that is like Danny's grown up with and stuff like that. Like Danny's the actual character in The Shining, unlike in the movie where it's more focused around Jack. I
Jack.
mean, Jack's still in the book, but
See, that's why like,
what I've read of it, I'm pretty sure Danny is more of the focus of the book than Jack is.
well, that's why I thought that I would really enjoy, at least from the
The
movie,
Doctor
like
Sleep.
Doctor Sleep,
Yeah.
because like you're gonna fight vampires. I'm into that.
So yeah,
That's
psychic
that's urban
vampires. Hell
fantasy.
yeah.
That's urban fantasy, dude. I'll read the shit out of that.
And you got
You know
that
what I
one
mean?
chick wearing the top hat, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Um, I can't remember. I was gonna say something about another one of those really shitty horror movies. Like people really love. I keep seeing it all over the place.
Langoliers?
What was
Oh, I
that?
thought you were talking about Stephen King movies. You were just talking about
No. It's horror movies in general. I keep seeing the
Paranormal
people like
Activity?
I'm gonna. No. Old cult stuff. Phantasm.
Phantasm.
People keep talking about Phantasm. I keep seeing artwork. I guess they re-released it on
Creepshow?
boutique Blu-ray. I guess not Creepshow, but Phantasm, and then the one I was telling you about before about like the bodies, where like the rich people like absorb people into their bodies, and it's like a body horror movie. I can't remember what it's called. But like
Metropolis?
the ending scene's like the kid that goes to his house and he sees this whole family and this all these people are like merging into one. It's like one body horror scene, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me.
I don't know. I don't think
Or people, and even the slasher thing, people, this is all my Facebook groups I've been about
Yeah.
movies. They're like, oh, tonight I'm gonna go home after work and watch Sleepaway Camp. I'm like, why the fuck? I'm not doing that.
From what I
I
know, from what Jay has talked about that movie, I feel like that movie's not worth my time.
I have never
Isn't that the
seen
movie where
Sleepaway
like the
Camp.
infamous thing about that movie is that the killer is like a transvestite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've never seen the movie, right? But I've seen the ending scene,
Yeah.
and it really creeped me out.
Yeah.
And not because, and maybe if I watch it now, maybe I won't be creeped out. But what it was is that one of my favorite bands in high school
Mhm.
used the clip of that ending or the clip of the movie in the intro of their song.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this fucking from? So I found it out and I YouTube searched it and I was like, oh, and I watched the ending scene to I guess the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is weird. Like
Yeah.
this creeps me out. You know what I mean? And it's like not even like it's probably like a super tame scene, but I remember just being like really like I don't know.
Mm.
This hit me at a weird time, and I was like, oh my god. And I'm not young. I was like fucking like 18.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, this is a weird scene. So I just don't touch that shit.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. And it's probably a super dumbass slasher movie. I understand that.
From what I've heard, it's pretty fucking stupid. So.
But people love that shit, dude.
People love
those
those
slasher
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 movies specifically are like some people love those type of movies. So.
I think slasher movies are the fucking Steven Seagal. It is slasher movies are the fucking Jean-Claude.
I would say like especially with like Friday the 13th, they probably are. I mean the Nightmare on Elm Street ones, at least there's like some creativity with that, with like the dream sequences and like
those are the Jean-Claude movies then.
Yeah, maybe.
The Jason.
I mean, the
movies,
Jason movies are definitely
fucking,
like the Steven Seagal of the horror movie.
Those are like or someone has to be the Arnold, but like there's one of the franchises.
I guess Michael
like,
or Halloween would probably be the Arnold.
Yeah, maybe whichever one makes the most.
Or maybe
money
Halloween is like the Sylvester.
Yeah, something like that. There's definitely an equivalent there somewhere.
Mm.
But we're here on Halloween night
to talk about Halloween.
To talk about Halloween, the first movie.
Yes.
1978. John Carpenter. Everything he did the movie. Everything.
John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah, and starring Jamie Lee Curtis as a 20-year-old.
She is. It's strange to see her in this movie.
Really?
Because I was thinking about that. I was watching it, which is the first time I ever really remember noticing her as an actress was watching her in Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
And you go from like that being your first impression for her, and you go to this movie, and you're like, "What happened to
you?" So we prefaced this before, I think, but we can say it again.
Mm-hmm.
That you've never seen this, right?
No, I never sat down and watched Halloween before.
Okay. And I've seen the movie once because I had to watch it in a film as art class in college.
Right.
So, for what the legacy it's created of being like the proto slasher type thing. So I've seen it one time, so this is my second time ever watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you, the first time I ever saw Jamie Lee Curtis was I'm pretty sure Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about her, but I just knew that like my dad or someone around me was like, "Oh, she's in this movie," and like I knew she was like a scream queen.
Yeah.
Type of actress. I didn't know enough about scream queens when I was a kid, but I knew that she had like a history of horror movie stardom or something.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. I knew it was Halloween at some point, but I just never watched it until I was in college.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I have to ask you, Zach, this is your first time watching Halloween.
Yeah.
1978, the proto slasher is what everyone calls it.
Yeah.
What were your expectations going in? What did you think you were going to see? Did you get that? And how did you feel at the end of the movie?
Well, I think, unlike typical movies where I haven't watched, I feel like Halloween's in like a weird spot because I've never actually sat down and watched it, but I've heard stuff about it forever. And especially like us watching Red Letter Media, like they talk about Halloween, and especially like Jay and Rich and Mike and them, like they talk about Halloween, especially Jay talks about Halloween like all the time. And so I already have like a mild impression of like what the movie was kind of going to be going into it. So I would say that like I didn't have like supremely high expectations for it as far as being like a bloody splasher movie or anything like that, or expecting like any like spectacular like special effects like gory kills or anything like that. Which I think helped a little bit because yeah, I think definitely compared to like stuff that came out later with like Nightmare or Friday the 13th or anything like that, or like even like Phantasm or like any of those other type of series that came out later, they definitely like are more emphasized on like the blood and the gore and like the actual like murder of these people. And this one really isn't about that. I mean, it takes like 60 minutes or 50 minutes for like the first person to like actually get killed by
No, it's
Michael
about
Myers.
60 minutes because
Yeah.
I was keeping track.
Yeah.
About that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's just crazy how long that it takes for like him to actually start killing. And once he does, like he's just like boom, boom, boom. He's just like killing them left and
Yeah.
right. But it really does take like quite a bit for him to actually like get into that first initial kill, which I was a little surprised about. I kind of thought that it was going to be spread out a little bit more.
At least the first kill that we see, because he does kill the
It's
guy
true. He
whose
just
car
killed
he steals.
the truck driver to get his
But
clothes.
that's off screen. We don't see that.
Yeah.
You know. I didn't remember how I felt about it when I first saw it because that was so long ago, and it wasn't a movie that left an impression on me.
Yeah.
For all the reasons we stated before about horror movies and me. So I just knew that it was a fine movie. I thought that I was gonna be fine with it, but man, I was extremely bored.
I was
extremely bored.
I was
and I
pretty
understand,
entertained by it for the most part. I think
I was bored.
I think there's definitely some scenes where he drags on the shot a little bit too long. But I think it also kind of starts to build into that tension of like where Michael Myers is, because I mean, really, like the first bit of the movie is Michael Myers escaping, and then he goes to Haddonfield, and it's also surprising me because like everybody knows that like he's going after Laurie for this whole thing, but I never actually known like why he chose to like follow Laurie the whole time and like why he was fixated on her, and to then figure out it was just because she laid a key in front of his house. He was like saw her and he's like, all right, I'm fixated on you now because you're the first person I saw. So
yeah.
But it's weird in that way too, where he's just like, that is just something like a crazy person would do. That like he's a man who ate a dog in a house and he just saw the first woman and he's like, all right, you're the one. I'm chasing after you now because I've seen you and now all my attention's fixated on you.
See, I was so bored.
Oh no, I think I really
not from the get go. From the get go, I was okay, cool. We're gonna build some tension here, and we're gonna build some atmosphere. And I liked what was going on, but then it was just so hokey. Like him driving the car, that's so fucking hokey. Even by 1978 standard, that's fucking hokey.
Well,
like
I mean, the
goofy.
hokey part to me was later on in the movie. It's like almost near the end where you have Donald Pleasance sitting in front of the house. And in this point, it's been implied that he's been sitting in that house, in front of that house for multiple hours. Yeah. And then you finally get the shot where he like, I don't know, for some reason he finally decides to turn the fuck around and sees the car. And I'm like, you never once like took your eyes off the house for like any period of time.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think
also
like,
too,
I don't know, it's implied that like, it's implied in the shot that like it's closer enough for him to see, but then the next shot he's like, he has to walk like 10 minutes to get to this car.
Yeah.
And I was like, how good is your eyesight, Donald Pleasance?
For me, it's really like I understand what the goal was, which was to build that tension.
Yeah.
But I never felt tension, and maybe it's because it's.
I definitely did.
Movie and it didn't translate.
He did a really
maybe
good job
it's
of
because
making Michael Myers like that intimidating figure. And I mean, especially when you've got a lot of those shots with the over the shoulder, like when he's at the school and you've just got him like at the fence, like with this heavy breathing, just like watching what's going on.
That didn't translate. That
I don't know. I just felt like that overwhelming presence from him, especially with like
he is so small in this movie. He is tiny in this movie.
I mean,
so the scene where he kills.
Else.
No, he's not, dude. When he kills the guy in the house, he is like the same weight his arms are like tiny and lanky. I'm like, this dude is small in that scene. Like when he lifts the guy up, I was like, dude, this is not a big guy. He's much bigger in different other movies where he's like a hulking,
Yeah.
like bigger. Like look at him in Halloween Kills. That's a big guy.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I'm like, this dude looks like he's fucking tiny.
Mm.
He looks so small. He doesn't look intimidating to me, and it doesn't translate. Like if it was fucking Arnie, that's fucking intimidating. Even if he's in the costume, like he's fucking he's huge, and it just didn't. And I think what for me it was that it took so long for payoff to tension that an hour of like them trying to build tension. The moment you're giving me these really cool scenes, you're doing all these cool shots of the fucking dead guy and the car stolen, the clothes are gone, and the cool opening, the cool scene of the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff is great. But then we get to him passing by the girls in the street with the car, and then he's like looking at them like fucking, and then he fucking stops the car for no reason. Like that to me, that's not scary.
Mm.
That's like some shit that high school boys do when they're trying to be flirty. Like it's not scary to me.
Mm.
And then when he finally, and maybe it's because it's 1978 and they don't want to, they're not there yet in terms of how making it massively brutal, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Him just like pushing through, like he's in the house, he pushes through, holds the guy with one hand. I'm like, okay, it doesn't really. I'm not a horror fan, and if I'm not scared of you, I'm like, okay, here he comes, and that's what happens. Okay, and that's scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the most brutal thing was probably when he was in the car with the girl and he's like choking her out. That's probably the most brutal scene. But then he's like, that was also a part that like didn't make any sense because then he like slashes her. I'm like, okay, did he cut her neck? But then you don't see any blood, so it's it's hard to reply.
But
he
kills
did,
the fucking.
Like I don't know what
he
else
kills
he could have done.
He kills the guy with the glasses, then puts his glasses on the fucking sheet, which is hilarious.
I mean, that scene's just funny, where he just
it's
hilarious.
hilarious.
Bed sheet. It's like a ghost.
But then he chokes the girl with the phone, and it's like you're not even trying, bro.
Yeah.
Like and maybe it's because too the actors as a whole are subpar.
Well, yeah, that's probably.
It's very B tier acting, and I don't know if this is a B movie. I don't know.
Did you not watch what was it? The movies that made us?
I didn't watch it. No.
You should, because this is definitely B movie in acting, in budget.
I know in budgetary, I know it's a B movie.
In budget, and I would say
John
acting
Carpenter
as well. I mean, I think Jamie Lee Curtis. For the movie, like Donald Pleasance Donald Pleasance gets top billing. Like, he's the only one that's like really like an actor. And I mean, in the movie, he's really the one that's like acting. So
yeah, he's the only one that's emoting.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the movie, when this action's finally happening, and Laurie is going to her neighbor's house, and it's the worst acting. And I watch action movies.
Yeah,
it's terrible. And literally, my comment to my fiance when we were watching it was like, "Why is no one helping this lady? She's known for being a nerd.
Yeah.
Who does nothing. This is her block.
Yeah, it's not like she's a prankster or anything like that.
She's not a prankster. She's not in trouble. She babysits all the kids, goes to school, comes back. She's not known for being like a ladies' girl or whatever, a boys' girl.
Yeah.
She just hangs out and does her work. It helps the kids and babysits them, and it's on her block.
Yeah.
So if she's screaming for help in the middle of the night, hey, maybe we don't open the blinds and put the blinds back because we live in the Midwest.
Yeah, that part didn't make any sense either. Like, I could see if it was like one of her friends, because her friends are the slutty characters. Yeah. But like her, she's like the straight-laced, straight-A nerd student.
And the fucking sheriff lives like 4 doors down.
Yeah.
He's never gonna tell the street, hey, by the way, maybe we should help each other out if we start hearing screaming in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's story beats that I can disagree with, obviously, but in terms of just the movie of it being made, like what we got in terms of visuals, I mean, I think I watched the 4K version of it, and it looks the 4K looks amazing. Yeah. It looks great for whatever. But in terms of what Carpenter's vision of it, I can see how it could be creepy in 1978. But I'm beyond that in terms of what I find creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely one of those movies that, like, especially compared to like modern horror cinema, it definitely is like been passed and like
And I also
especially with like
I
what people are
yeah,
able to do like nowadays.
I agree with you, and I also want to say that it has John Carpenter syndrome, which is like I love a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
The ones that are up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like if you think like when you first watch Escape, you even said on the podcast, it wasn't what you thought it was gonna be,
No, it's
right?
not.
And it's not what you thought it was gonna be. It's not what anyone thinks it's gonna be, and that's John Carpenter syndrome. So if you hear your whole life that Halloween is like this best thing and it's great,
But then you
but
go to Big Trouble in Little China and it's exactly what you thought it was going to be and it's amazing.
yeah, because he watched Zoo Warriors of Magic Mountain, whatever the fuck it's called, which is a Chinese movie, and he just stole that.
Amen.
Or was heavily inspired by that movie,
I
which
was
is
about
great.
to say, I think he was just heavily inspired by what he saw.
It's insanely close. It's insanely close to a lot of different elements, but um, I think
Also,
that
it's a
like
great that because this being one of his early movies, it's great to see the Thing nods to where he was
yeah
eventually able to do the thing. And I was like, I'm interested to know if like that was just something that he had on at the time, or he was already at the time being like, I want to do the thing.
yeah. I mean, I can see how the movie Halloween
Mm-hmm.
could be like super duper inspiring in different levels because it's like a new guy, new actress. It's all this home team thing, and it succeeds and becomes a massive success. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that story. But in terms of the movie, I can see how people like me, who have heard about it my whole life, and have know the name, this from osmosis of being alive
Mm-hmm.
and being a film fan. It would be like how I would feel about watching Escape for the first time, being like, man, I hear Snake Plissken and Metal Gear Solid references this character's name,
Yeah.
and it's not the same thing at all. I can see how like people like me, example, I watched a movie with high expectations, even though I've seen it before. I forget half the shit
Yeah.
because I realized why I forgot half the shit because took 50 minutes for something to happen. Because 50 minutes of the movie is just them walking along the streets.
Yeah, a lot of it is like them walking and then her babysitting is a lot of it too.
Yeah, it's her walking down this street and then that street and then this way and then that way and then they're talking on the phone here and talking on the phone there and it's like I get that this is not a slasher movie, this is a stalker movie.
Yeah.
I understand that completely and I appreciate that. Um, but maybe if I was really in tune with like the history of horror,
Mm-hmm.
like if I was a horror fan and I like loved the genre,
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, this is like the OG template, and I can see kind of like I can respect that. But since I'm not one, maybe I'm more like, okay, this is boring.
Yeah,
You know?
I could see that. I mean, I think it also goes back to like, what I started off saying, which is like I think if you come into it with like, like super high expectations of like this is what kicked off the modern slasher movie and stuff like that, and you come in there with like that mindset of like this has got to be fucking amazing because it kicked off this
Yeah.
whole genre of films.
Because I think if you watched any other Halloween first and you watch this one, except for Halloween 3,
Yeah.
and you watch this one, you'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's probably how people feel about watching the first Jason movie.
Probably.
They're like,
yeah.
what the fuck is
Well, yeah,
this?
because
He's not even in the movie.
Friday the 13th has the same thing where it's like Jason's not in the first
Not
movie.
even in the movie.
It's all about his
so,
mom and his mom.
Yeah.
You get to that and it's like his mom? His mom's the killer?
Yeah.
Really?
So it's again, I think that the movie itself was well made
Mm-hmm.
in terms of quality. It looks great.
It looks
The
fantastic.
scenes
It's
are
got some
great.
really interesting shots.
Cool
composition that he's
shots.
able to do.
The score is my favorite
Dude.
thing in the movie.
Score for this movie is fantastic.
But that's
I love it.
almost every Carpenter movie. They're always good.
Yeah, all the scores that he does for his movies.
At least the big
fantastic.
ones. The big ones are great.
Yeah.
But, I really do think that pacing
It's like the best part about the new
issue.
Halloween movies is that he did the score for them.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he did score for both of them. So
the pacing is just so terrible to me. Like 50 minutes before they even get to like the night.
yeah,
55 minutes before because I was like, man, we are a few minutes between I activate fucking fast forward protocol. And I was like activating fast forward protocol, and I'm like, he's still not here yet.
yeah,
Okay, boop 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 boop, and still nothing. Boop boop boop. Okay, finally we start. Okay, here we go. Now we start killing some people.
Mm.
And the fact that I know that no story elements, because a lot of the story, let's be real, Zach, there isn't one.
I mean, no, I'm not gonna argue with you. There's not really a story.
It's just Lori and being like, I like this guy, and you should take this guy.
I mean, a lot of
weed,
the
and you saw your
story,
dad.
a lot of the story is like just high school drama shit.
Just high school drama.
Yeah, like there's not really
High school drama.
the main. I mean, I would say the main crux of the story is Michael Myers and Donald Pleasant's relationship, but then they're really not on screen with each other except for like
No.
the first 5 minutes
The
and the
end.
last 5 minutes. So
Yeah. And even at the very end when he shoots Michael,
yeah,
I caught that he shoots him out the window,
Mhm.
which we all know that scene.
yeah.
And then even though he's out the window, he still pulls the trigger. And I was like, and the gun's empty. And I was like, why would you pull the trigger?
when the
He's
gun's
already
empty.
not there. So what are you shooting at?
Yeah, I
The
didn't get
other
that part
house?
either. I guess it's just to emphasize that he like emptied the clip. I guess for the audience is like he fired
What you
all
should-
his bullets at.
What you should do, because it's a revolver, is just unload the gun and have the shot of the shells
I'm gonna
emptied
say that
going
Donald
to the
Pleasance
floor.
is not a gunman, so
John Carpenter
maybe.
have a shot where a cowboy scene, because didn't RLM say he loved westerns?
Yeah, he said. Oh, that's what they talked about during their
Their
Carpenter
video,
rankings. That he basically Carpenter had always said that the one movie he'd always wanted to make was
grew
a
on
Western.
westerns.
Yeah.
So literally, just any cowboy movie, you pull the cylinder out, eject the shells, ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
Took 6 rounds to knock Michael out.
No, that's true.
And even though I cannot really say that I enjoyed the movie as much as I thought,
really like the ending to the movie a lot.
the ending's great.
The ending is
That's what I was gonna say.
fantastic. He
No,
looks
that's what I was gonna
over,
say is
there's
that.
no Michael, and then you just see all these different shots of
Yeah.
where Michael could be.
That's what I was gonna say. The ending's great, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to add a caveat to that.
But
To
then
me-
you have the sequels that ruined it.
well, not even that, but sure, is that like him hiding behind a bush at the beginning of the movie isn't really scary or threatening, because we get to that scene where the girl goes over there. Oh, he's gone. I know where he went.
Yeah.
Down the alley.
Well, that's the other thing where it's like they went and you can clearly see that there's like just a way that you could exit, that you could just
Yeah.
keep walking. And they're like, there's nobody there. And I'm like, there
Where's
totally
that?
could have been
He's-
somebody there.
He's that way. He went down the fucking alley. Duh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or he's
Or
he's
you
in
just
the
like
fucking
went
pantry.
behind the house that's right there and it's just like around the corner of the house.
Yeah, you know, so I think that like I would assume
I know.
As
This
time
movie
goes
also has the
on-
problem of like that. I mean, a lot of horror movies have this too, where it's like everybody's just too damn slow. Where it's like, well, it's like Laurie's like, she's seeing the guy and then she's like pointing it out, and it's like everybody's fucking taking too long to respond. So it has like, oh yeah, of course he's fucking gone because it took you like 5 minutes to finally fucking look over. But then you have the
Or,
same
like,
thing when Laurie's babysitting and like the kid's seeing Michael Myers. And then
Yeah.
he's like, I saw the boogeyman. And then she looked, and and I was like, yeah, because it took you like 30 seconds to finally get off your ass and like fucking look.
or like the scene where like what's his name? Donald Pleasant's character's name.
Loomis.
Yeah, Loomis. Where he first meets the sheriff and then Michael drives behind him.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, they're trying to be like, ooh.
Yeah.
That didn't come off that way.
It didn't?
It didn't come off as ooh to me.
Well, I mean, it didn't come off as woo to me because, I mean, it's part of the fact that, like, also, why would Michael Myers slow down? But, like, you can kind of, unless you know that, like, that's his car, which, I mean, they kind of do set it up for you, but, like, you can't really see him drive by. Like, he drives by pretty quick,
Yeah.
so it's not really
think
that
also
moment of,
the-
like, facial recognition. You just recognize,
the-
you just know it's him because you know that's
I think the
car.
detriment to me too is that I have seen other scenes of other Halloween movies, like of the franchise,
Mhm.
in that he clearly becomes a character that's supposed to mirror Jason or
Yeah.
vice versa. They build off each other or whatever
Right.
to become more intimidating or more scary. So like the idea of this like really creepy like invincible killer like drives a station wagon, it really ruins the spooky factor for me.
Mhm.
It'd be spookier if he didn't have the mask on. Because I know that motherfucker can't see driving that car with a mask on. Like, I know he can't. That's more magical than him not dying.
Yeah.
Than getting stabbed and then getting shot 6 times. That's more magical than that.
That's
It's
more
like him
magical
driving
than him
perfectly.
being stabbed and surviving from a foot-long sewing needle.
Yeah. and then getting stabbed with a knife,
multiple times.
and then getting shot 6
Yeah,
times. Like, and you're still alive? Okay, that's fine. Movie rules, but I get it. But
getting shot 6 times
Yeah.
and falling like 10 feet off of a building.
yeah, and you're agile. I saw you walk, dude. You walk real slow.
He walked real slow.
Walk real. Also, I didn't remember seeing his face the first time.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, like his mask actually comes off and you see his face. Yeah, for like a couple seconds.
Yeah. Is it Sloth from fucking Goonies?
It kind of looked like Sloth for a little bit.
A little
but
bit,
he had
yeah,
more hair
right?
than Sloth. So.
Yes, of course. But he had more time.
Yeah, that's true.
A couple years later.
More like Jason, honestly.
I don't remember what Jason looks like.
It's deformed face. Same type.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. Why we gotta do that?
Yeah, it's easy.
Creepy.
It's
right?
easy to be creepy with a deformed face.
See, but isn't Jason like? I've only seen the first movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's not even in the movie. I'm not watching anymore.
He's in it in the last 5 seconds.
Isn't he like from the get go, like brought back from the dead, right?
No, I mean he's
or is he alive?
He's dead. Well, the whole reason that his mom goes on the killing spree is because the camp counselors let him die, and then for some reason
they drowned.
At the end of the first movie,
he's back.
He just pops up for some reason
out of the
and
water.
Attacks that girl in the canoe.
Yeah. Out of the
it's
water.
Not explained why. He just does it. He just like, oh, he's alive. So, it's those movies have notoriously bad writing. So,
well, they're all about the kills, right? I get it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I almost I don't want to keep referencing Red Letter Media because it's a different we have our own podcast.
Yeah.
But like, I feel the same way that Rich does about Halloween.
Oh, you
like
you would put it at 13 too, yeah.
I would put it low, and not because like it's not bad. It's well made for what it is and the budget they had and the actors. Because clearly their talent pool was very low. I just wasn't very impressed with what I saw, but because I know just by being alive that like the other movies that are in the franchise like may not be better in terms of when they were made, but in terms of serving the purpose of being a scarier slasher film, probably succeed better in that. Even though I know 78 Halloween isn't a slasher film, I understand that, but my point being that like I have high expectations. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be like it's like the first time I watched American Psycho or Psycho or whatever Psycho, and I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that my class made me watch this movie.
That's another movie I still haven't watched that I need to watch.
Which one?
Psycho.
I've
seen American Psycho. American Psycho's fine.
Well, you should watch the Vince Vaughn one.
I heard that one was bad.
It's terrible.
What?
It's terrible.
I don't want to see Vince Vaughn's terrible acting.
That's why you watch it. I was more afraid of Misery than I was of Halloween.
Misery's pretty terrifying.
That's fucking creepy. That shit's creepy.
What's her face just locks you in a cabin and won't let you leave, and then breaks your bones to stop you.
Breaks your bones. That shit's creepy. Dude.
Yeah.
No, but Psycho it's fine.
Yeah.
It's also how I felt about and Halloween suffers from this. And it's not Halloween's fault, but it suffers from being so big that you have to go into it with really grander than life, grandiose expectations because of what it creates.
Yeah.
Like if you watch like The Wolf of Wall Street now, like if you expect a lot, The Departed you expect a lot,
Yeah.
Citizen Kane you expect a lot, all that kind of stuff, and if you don't like get that, you're like, this movie fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I think the last one that happened to me probably was like, shit. I think the last time that happened, maybe it was Wolf of Wall Street. Because I didn't see Wolf of Wall Street for years until after it came out.
Still haven't seen it yet.
Maybe that. I remember watching it and being like, this is fucking okay. Fine, I guess. Why do people love this movie so much?
I'll tell you what I had that with.
Okay.
I had it with Rad.
Rad's different though. I don't think people are like.
I don't know, dude. Look, man, you hyped up Rad a lot for me, and I got into Rad, and I was like, I don't get it.
I think you just don't like good movies.
Look, I'm willing to let you have your own opinion about that.
I know you like anime movies,
and so that's fine with
you.
Me.
Like,
I mean, you don't
movies.
like roller coasters, so you're already a weird person.
Yeah, but you
anyway.
like Your Name, or where the fuck that movie's called.
The what?
You like Your Name, or where that shit's called. these anime movies.
Oh, A Silent Voice. Thank you very much.
What's Your Name? Is that a movie?
Oh, well,
Is
Your
that an
Name
anime
is
movie
too,
too?
but I like A Silent
Yeah.
Voice more than Your Name.
No, dude, Red is very popular.
Hmm.
It's a cult movie, man.
Uh,
But if it wasn't, I'm not going to tell you that a cult movie deserves to everyone like it because I know it's impossible. It's one of those
it's
movies
true.
that's like divisive in like when it came out, but people liked it who were of a certain understanding about dumb movies.
But what is there about that? Because there are certain cult movies that are universally loved, though. Like, I mean, The Thing is like I think a perfect example of that.
I don't think is the thing a cult movie though.
I mean, in the vein of like how we were describing cult movies, where like I mean, The Thing like bombed super fucking hard when it came out, but
Yeah,
it's
I think
grown
that
to have that cult following over
I
time.
think that's probably just Carpenter though. Like I feel like he's in his own lane.
I don't know, is it? Because I mean, I feel like The Thing is one of those movies
Because
that
Big
like
Trouble sucked too, right?
the what?
Because didn't Big Trouble bomb too?
I think all of his movies bomb pretty hard. Yeah.
So I think I think
I
critics
think
just don't like
Halloween was
him.
like the only movie of his that was like commercially successful when it came out.
I think the thing of his movies are that he's just so genre
Yeah.
that people are like, I don't want to watch your genre movie
I'm trying to
until
think of
after
what
it's
other
already
movies
out.
of his might have been commercially successful. Because I don't think Escape
Um,
from New York was either, was it? Or maybe Escape from New York was. I don't know.
I think that's a super cult classic movie, I
Yeah.
believe. But something like Alien, like that's a super genre movie, but that shit fucking rocks, and everyone loves that shit.
Everybody still loved. I mean, everybody loved that shit
Everyone
when it
loves
came
that shit.
out. So
Terminator,
yeah,
that's a super genre movie, but everyone fucking that movie made a ton of fucking money.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I think there's that fine line between cult movies that like are because even what you consider a cult classic is just what movie has a fan base, you know.
Yeah.
And like Rad has a huge. That's why they put it on DVD and on 4K. That's why the 4K goes for like $200 because like people fucking love that shit,
Mm.
you know. But I think like fucking when I think about another cult movie, I don't know, man. That's like as good as Rad. Rad's the best.
I don't know,
And
dude.
it took me a long time to even watch Rad. I was like, I think Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas is pretty dope.
I think Surf Ninjas is a cult classic movie, but no one.
TMNT, 90s TMNT.
I don't think that's a cult classic. I think
I don't
everyone
think
likes
so,
that
but I
shit.
still fucking love those movies to death. God damn.
Yeah, I think. See, I think that movie, if it has Vanilla Ice in it,
Well, that's the second one. The second one has been.
but in general, I think if it has Vanilla Ice in it, you're probably not a cult classic because he's a mainstream guy.
Is he? He's a one-hit
Now,
wonder
but
guy.
that's mainstream. He made a ton of money, but his movie is a cult classic.
Oh yeah, the one JonTron did. What's that
Yeah,
called?
whatever the Ice something probably.
Yeah, I think it was like Ice Cool or something like that.
So something like that. His movie is a
I gotta
cult
figure out
classic.
what the hold on. I gotta figure out what the fuck that movie was called. Ice movie.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, Vanilla Ice movie. I don't know why the fuck I said Ice. Cool as Ice.
Cool as Ice. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a cult movie. Wolf Cop's a cult movie.
I did watch Wolf Cop. I was like, I
Have
haven't
you-
watched it, and I was like, no, I did. I watched it last year for Halloween, actually.
There's a movie I saw when I was in college, in one of my movie classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2000s B movie, science fiction movie. That's replicating 1950s science fiction movies. I can't remember what it's called. Shit.
The Blob probably
It's-
would be a cult classic.
Fucking what's this movie called?
The Blob.
I want to search. 2000s. God damn it, my fucking keyboard's out. We'll do it later. Shit. Whatever. This is really funny. It's a really, really funny movie. I'm gonna get mad because I had it on my Amazon cart and I just forgot it. 2000s B science fiction movie. I bet I'm not gonna find it in time. Whatever, it's fine. It's a good movie though. Whatever the fuck it is, that's a good movie. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Hey man. Is there anything else you want to add about Halloween before we end the pod?
It was hornier than I thought would be, but it still wasn't quite as horny as other slasher movies that I've seen.
You got a couple boobs in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly the one blonde chick, really.
Yeah,
Other than that,
really
I mean,
her.
you got some panty shots with the other chick, but it's pretty tame, especially when you go to like Friday the 13th next, where like that's all just like tits and ass. So
Yeah. How do you feel? I agree with you. It definitely. I was expecting. Again, I've seen the movie. I forget how much boobs are in it.
yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like boob central.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's like skirt and stocking central for Strode the
Well,
whole
like
time.
yeah, Laurie Strode's wearing like fucking knee-high socks and
Like librarian
a
outfit.
ankle-length skirt, like very
Yeah.
strange.
Also, real fast, sorry, that classroom scene fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I mean, I
That
like
classroom
it.
scene's terrible.
I found the symbolism of it interesting. Well, not the symbolism, but
The
the
dialogue that creates
dialogue
the
where they're talking
idea,
about like faith being
fate
like
and shit. Yeah.
amorphous thing, and I was like, okay, so that's clearly like them trying to nod to the fact that
Mhm.
like Michael Myers is like the an avatar of fate, basically,
Yeah.
and like what is about to happen tonight. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know why I had to have like a 3-minute long
Someone tell me.
scene for you to tell me that. Like, I don't know.
And like she's not paying
And yeah,
attention in
also
class
she's
at
like not paying
all.
attention, but like she's the straight A student, so she knows the exact answer, even though she wasn't
And
listening to the question.
her teacher sounds like she's a student.
Yeah, that
And her
too.
voice is terrible. And the acting
Her,
is
her teacher
terrible.
sounded
And
like her friend. I was like, wait, is that the
yeah.
teacher?
So I will say that Halloween, from my perspective as a non-horror fan, action movie fanatic,
Mm.
that Halloween is a fine movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever buy it on 4K. You know, they just re-released it like 16 times this last year on 4K.
Honestly, I feel like I might. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it was because my expectations were lowered about exactly what was going to be in it. But I enjoyed the tension scenes in it, and I felt myself pretty entertained by it. I mean, I think there's definitely lulls in it a lot, but I think overall I was satisfied with what.
I felt more tension from First Blood.
That's fair.
You know, and that's not like me trying to compare the two. The reality, I didn't feel fear for Laurie at all.
Mm.
I just didn't feel like I knew she was good. Obviously, it's a movie. I knew she was gonna survive probably, but obviously also I know because Halloween Kills. Evil dies tonight. Whatever.
Yeah.
Evil
dies tonight.
I just didn't feel like there was any stakes involved because I didn't care about anybody, and I didn't feel like the tension.
Yeah,
even with the
I think
great
that's
music,
the
I
biggest
didn't
problem this
feel
movie
like it was there.
has is that you don't really care about any of the characters. Like even Laurie, you don't really care about, other than the fact that she's like the goody two shoe.
And they're trying to make me care by giving you all this exposition about her boyfriend and not doing anything. They're trying really
About her
hard.
not having a boyfriend, yeah. Like
Yeah,
she's
about
like,
her
oh
like,
yeah, I'm a lonely
not going
person.
to dance and
I
all
want to go to the
stuff.
dance and yeah.
But it didn't really work on me, and I felt like it was kind of
Yeah.
it was a slog fest to me. It was really hard for me to get through. And the problem is that the opening scenes, even the opening scene, I kind of was like, this is too long.
Yeah, that one's pretty long. Yeah, with the POV,
POV
tracking
shit.
shot through the whole
But then the
house.
scene right after with Loomis, that's a great scene.
Yeah. I mean, the Loomis
Yep.
scenes in the movie are like the best scenes in the whole movie. So.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be cool, man. This is a great scene. This is a good tension builder, a good atmosphere builder.
Yeah.
And then we immediately farted out, and like it's like, okay, we're gonna walk down a street. And the set looks great. The locations look great. All that stuff looks great. The colors look great. Everything looks awesome for a good like tension building movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get that fucking car scene.
Yeah.
And it just sucks the air like a wet fart. It's just not scary. If they just didn't have that scene, it just to me that's just so hokey pokey.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you can pause it and see him like looking. That's fucking hokey as shit. Could you imagine Halloween Kills, where like Laurie's in the hospital and she goes outside and you see Michael and
Evil dies tonight.
And like he's just sitting there in a fucking BMW, like looking at her, like that'd be so fucking dumb.
Isn't that what he does when he's basically on fire and he's just like looking at bitches like that? I will say when he kills the guy and he's got that scene where he's like tilting his head and he's like,
yeah,
admiring his work. I was like, that's an interesting.
I
little...
was too busy looking at how small he looked. I was too busy body shaming him. I was like, this dude looks tiny. Hold on,
Finn
let's
is
Google
beautiful,
it.
Jason.
Let's Google it real quick. Halloween.
Well, it's played by two different people technically, so.
Yeah, Halloween 1978.
Michael Myers.
Cast.
But the main guy who plays him is a smaller guy, so I mean that's part of it too.
Nick Castle.
Yeah, like they show him in the movies that made us in the Halloween episode. One of the main guys that they talk to a lot is the guy who played Michael Myers, or
he's 5'10".
Yeah, like he's a small guy.
He's an inch taller.
I mean, you can tell
me.
in the interviews that like he's a small guy. So
he's literally an inch taller than me, and he one-handed, left hand, by the way, left hand, choked the guy.
Maybe he's a lefty.
and lifted him up, and then stabbed a kitchen knife through him in the gut, killed him right away. By the way, that's terrible. And then the guy's body weight didn't break the knife.
I mean, that was the thing. Oh, sorry. That was the thing that was most unbelievable to me. That he like stabbed him with one knife, and that knife did not. Either he did not slide on the knife, or the knife did not just like fall out. Because like I don't know how a knife is gonna hold up like this entire guy's body weight. 200 Especially because he looks like a guy who only drinks beer and has a beer gut. So
yeah. And I was like,
that's a lot of weight.
Scene, I was looking at the scene when he's doing the looking at the body. And I'm like, y'all both the same fucking weight. Y'all the same size. You know, like I was like, come on. You know, and I just finished. I've been binge watching the show You.
I haven't watched that
on Netflix because my fiance loves the show, so you should watch the show.
My coworker told me about it.
It's solid so far. I'm only on season 2, and she's up to date. She watched season 3 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching the show, and we were watching the first season last week, and I'm watching it going, I'm like, dude, this is fucking Dexter.
Mm.
This show is legit just Dexter.
Hmm.
So we watched an episode of You, and I turned it over to Dexter, watched the episode of Dexter, and she's like, this is exactly this. This is the same show. Like, there's so many similarities, just character differences.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so, like, unimpressed with You in the story capacity because he's a stalker character who kills a lot of people because he's a stalker, but he's in terrible shape.
Mm.
Like, he doesn't work out, even though he's a stalker, has to kill people. He's always, like, getting beat up a lot, it seems like. Whereas Dexter trains. That way, no one, if he has to kill someone, he's like, yo, you ain't gonna beat me in a fight because I gotta be able to take my subject and go kill them. So like Dexter's in shape. He lifts weights. He looks like he's in shape. I was like, this is what Michael Myers should be in this movie, not a 5'10" goof. You know, and I think maybe that was a factor too, where like they'll have the over the shoulder scenes where you see him like staring at Laurie, like the long shot in the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like looking at your mask, it looks kind of like hokey pokey. Because it's kind of like ill-fitting a little bit, which I'll fine, whatever, fine. It's freaking Captain Kirk, I understand.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, your traps are tiny, bro. You're right. Where's the mass at? Because I'm used to seeing him in the new movies where he's like fucking yoked.
Yeah, well, the new movies definitely are like, oh, he's got to be more like Jason. And I mean, you know, clearly this one came out before Jason, so they really didn't have to compare him.
Yeah, they didn't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was expecting, and I forgot that he was so small. Like, yo, get the Undertaker. What are we doing? Pull out Kane. Why are we not having a 6'9" person do this?
I don't even think Kane was a grown adult when this was out, was it?
He's probably like fucking 12 or something.
Yeah.
You know? But that's what I feel. I think it's a fine movie for what it is. There's some goofy things in there that I can look at. I think that they're pretty obvious that they're goofy. And I can recognize the impact it's made on horror movies, and I think that's great, and I can respect that. It's just not for me in particular.
Yeah.
And man, Jamie Lee Curtis is terrible in it, and
she's not that great.
She's not good, and her screaming at the end, I was like, dude, what the hell are we doing? This is terrible. I don't know where he found you at, but this was not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they talked about it in the movies that made us. She was in some TV show that they were watching, and like that's where they picked her out of. because they wanted
Yeah.
somebody that was like unknown at the time,
Mhm.
so they like picked her because she was in this obscure TV show that like not a lot of people that had watched. So
Yeah, I get that. Well, hey, you know what, guys? We are split in the household of Check the Vending Machines. Zach liked the movie a lot.
yeah,
I thought it was a fine movie. It was a movie. I thought it was fine.
yeah. I mean, I mean, it's not like I don't think it's my favorite movie of all time, but I think it's a fairly good movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So
I get that, and if I could find it, I would show it, but I can't, so never mind. But
yeah, it's,
hey, we'll see you guys back next week.
see you guys.
More Check the Vending Machines,
Yes.
more podcast. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but we'll figure it out.
When does Ghostbusters come out?
November, is it
Do we need to start that
18th,
ramp up?
22nd? We might have to.
Hold on,
It's
Ghostbuster.
definitely coming in.
I think it comes out like November.
Is it the 18th?
18th. So what is that? That's where the fucking pull up my calendar, you bitch. All right. Fuck this computer. All right. Let's see. Get off my screen. Okay. Let's see. So technically, this would be Ghostbuster 1. Yeah, so I mean, if we just get Ghostbuster 1 and Ghostbuster 2, then Afterlife would be that next week. So
Okay.
So
Well, we'll do that then.
I guess we're doing Ghostbusters.
All right. Next week, Ghostbusters 1.
Have we
The
done
original.
Ghostbusters before, by the way?
No, we've just talked about it a
Okay.
lot.
I know we've talked about it
Yeah.
a lot. I didn't know if we'd actually done a main topic on it yet or not.
I don't think we have, but we now will next
I think
week.
we have talked about it in our like movie rankings because I've consistently had
yes.
it in my rankings before. So.
For sure. I think we definitely have. So, hey guys, we're going to start our mini 3-week program
Yes.
of Ghostbusters 1, GB2,
Yes.
the better of the two, and then Afterlife. And then this will be Zach's first time seeing GB2, right?
Yeah, first time for GB2.
And you get to hear the best song, baby. You get to hear the best song.
What song is
Fucking
that?
Bobby Brown. On her
Oh, the
own,
Bobby
Bobby
Brown.
Brown. So good, dude.
I don't know, dude. I really like Ray Parker Jr., man.
No, it's not even close. It's not even
Dude,
close.
and then you get the. Have you heard the remix for the Ray Parker Jr. song?
I have.
Bustin' makes me feel good. Hell yeah,
I
dude.
have. On Her Own is a good song because you can take away the rap portion of the song, and it's not even a Ghostbusters song. It's just a good Bobby Brown song. And
I'm trying to think of
That's
what
why it's so
our
good.
future schedule is also going to be like.
Hmm.
Because we've also got. So after that, we've got. Hold on. Matrix 4 comes out when?
Hold on, let me end the pod real fast.
Yeah,
Hey
in the
guys,
pod.
see you back next week. Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, then Afterlife after that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back next week.
See you guys.